Good morning, Madam Chair. You're all set and ready to go.
Thank you, Jerida. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our committee meeting for Public Works, Facilities, and Sustainability Committee for Thursday, February 12th, 2026. The time is 8:02 a.m. And for this meeting, we have Councilor Ben Winograd, Mr. Bob Palmer, Director of Plant and Facility Services, Brooke Nelson, Catherine Deviney, Counselor Deb Poland, Counselor Gail Harris, Counselor Jason Wang, Counselor John Lyons, John Phillips, Director of Public Works, Catherine Bruns, Town Manager Rick Ledwith, and Mayor Sherry Cantor. I'm sorry, did I say Deputy Mayor Deb Poland? There you are. Thank you. Sorry for the inaccurate name. So before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to the Department of Public Works for all they've been doing to keep us safe and commuting safely on the road and addressing the snow. Also want to say thank you to the team at Sustainability for coordinating the tour for some of the committee members. Uh, Deputy Mayor Poland, Councilor Harris, and I were able to tour the recycling facility, and we were I'll speak for myself. I was really impressed and highly entertained by process and how it works, and looking forward to what we could accomplish as a town if we increase the engagement of everyone in our recycling and food waste program. So thank you. It was very educational. And we can go ahead and move on to the approval of minutes, but before we approve the minutes, I did find some errors myself that need to be corrected. The meeting date was January 8th, not January, yeah, January 6th on Thursday. And the meeting time, 8 a.m. The meeting began at 8:01 and ended at 8:29. If we could have those um, items corrected on the minutes. Did anyone else have any corrections they wanted to make?
Um, yes, through you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting, we had asked for two agenda items, and those are not on the minutes either. So I think that might want to be corrected.
Thank you. I do recall at the end of the meeting, I did highlight those two agenda items. Um, Rick, do you remember, or if they will be
Yes, Madam
discussed during
Chair.
this meeting? I'm sorry.
Yes, we will address it during the meeting. Thank you.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you. Um, were they added to the minutes? Is that what you're saying, Counselor Harris? Did you see it in the minutes, the agenda
I mean,
items?
it says future agenda items, and then it says no future agenda items at this time, where there
Right,
were two agenda items I
right.
thought were going to be added. So,
Oh, okay. So at least added to the minutes. So if the minutes can be
yeah,
reflected to acknowledge
right.
the request. Thank you. I understand. Thank you. So if there are no other, I guess since they need to be corrected, we wait.
Now,
Yeah,
I make a
Or you
motion
do
that
still make a
we
motion.
accept the minutes with the proposed modifications.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. So it has been moved and seconded, and we will add those revisions. So we can move to communications. Mr. Ledwith?
thank you, Madam
Yes.
Chair. Good morning, everyone, and appreciate the shout out to our Public Works and Plant Facilities Services teams for their efforts, particularly during the storm on January 25th, but for their efforts all winter long. As we know, it's been a very challenging winter for the team. And the storm on the 25th was anything but a routine event. With heavy snow and obviously combined with the bitter cold, difficult road conditions, and the kind of storm, as John would remind us, demands endurance as much as it does skill. So our crews worked around the clock plowing, maintaining our buildings and equipment, and push through, fatigue after working for so long, and they did it with professionalism and pride. So I really, what makes me most proud is not just that the roads were cleared or that our buildings remained operational. It's really the mindset of this team. They take pride in keeping our town beautiful year round, and obviously safe during these storms as well. So whether it's getting our parks ready in the spring, managing through the leaves in the fall, or battling the snow and ice in the winter, they approach every season with that same commitment to service. So very much appreciate their efforts all year long, and particularly during events like we had on January 25th and 2026. So they represent our town very well, and very fortunate to have them on our team. So thank you, Madam Chair, and I will turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. So we can move to the staff reports, and I'll recognize Mr. John Phillips, Director of Public Works. Take it away.
Good morning to the chair, John Phillips, Director of Public Works. Happy to be with everybody this morning. So we'll start off with the monthly report. The first, the top of the report does touch on a topic that came up last meeting. I believe it's from Councilwoman Harris's request on seeking about opportunities for our organic waste materials that the town collects, and possibly leveraging those for the commodities that they ultimately end up becoming. So it addresses it in the beginning of our report. And so, as you know, just for a quick verbal executive summary, from our first contact with that type of waste, it is just a waste to us. For it to become a viable, marketable commodity, there's a lot of engineering and processing that has involved to make that material viable. So we're talking about materials such as leaves, grass clippings, branches, garden debris, or even our Christmas trees. Again, when we first touch it in its raw form, it is just waste. So it's a material management program for us. Collect the material and bring it to the waste streams that will most benefit that material to be recycled, repurposed, reused, etc. So for those reasons, again, it requires us to it would require us to do that, have receiving areas, trained staff, specialized equipment, etc. The industry is doing that for us. It's more cost effective and efficient for the industry, but it is a fee for service model that the industry offers every municipality, state agency, not just in Connecticut, but probably across this country. Again, there's a lot of good information in the first part of the report, and I'll be happy to take any questions either now or at the end of the report on this specific topic.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Are there any questions or points of clarification from the committee members?
Through you, Madam Chair, to
Councilmember.
Mr. Phillips. So what you're saying, Mr. Phillips, is that we collect all of this at a fee, and then it's sent to some kind of collection company that's going to then use it to make something out of it or process it in some way.
Correct. So we don't charge a fee. It is a part of our services that we provide residential properties throughout the town. So we collect it, we transport it, and we pay a fee for its disposal. Because again, that first contact with the types of materials that you're asking questions on, it is just a waste for the municipality. And then the companies that we dispose it to, whether it's Trash Energy, whether it's the recycling center that I believe you were participating in visiting, or the organic recycling facilities, they charge a fee for its incoming material coming in. It's called a tip fee. They process it, they engineer it to become a commodity on a market. They do the marketing, they sell it, they hold all the risks to move that material to the commodity market. So, short answer to a long, complicated industry. It's a fee coming in and a fee and a revenue going out creates that industry for who we bring these materials to.
Okay. Is that the only, I think this is what you said, but is that the only model that's out there? Because it seems that the town, is incurring a cost both to remove the issues, and then they're incurring another cost when they bring it to the facility. Um, and then the facility will then take our waste and make money off of it. So and again, as somebody who doesn't really know much about this
Mhm.
industry, is there any other model that doesn't incur a cost to us for people who are going to take our products and make money off of it? When I
No,
say, a model that would not
yeah. So
cost us money.
not that I'm aware of. So so anytime there's an engineered solution for any kind of a waste turning into a commodity, you need machinery, labor, space, regulation, compliance, permits. So there are larger public works agencies across the nation may be taking this material in themselves, but they have the workforce, the commitment of the machinery, upkeep, etc., and maybe produce it, but the margins of our revenue are so small. I'd be surprised if all those programs aren't subsidized heavily by the operation itself or wherever else they get revenues from. Um, so the only model that I'm aware of is that we collect the waste that our residents generate. We bring it to the streams, the proper streams of for production to produce it into a sellable commodity. Even our waste goes to trash to energy. That trash is burned and creates a low level commodity. They don't get a lot of money for the kilowatts they produce, but they do. It produces energy. But even there's still a residue waste that has to be disposed of and landfilled. Um, so yeah, the model that we're using is the most widespread and most common. It would be a unique situation for a municipality to be able to take on that kind of responsibility and manage their own waste into the commodity for resale.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. And I just want to go back to the tour that we had at the recycling facility. And they mentioned something called the average commodity rate. And
Mhm.
that's a part of the contract. I believe that's very much in the weeds and maybe even out of scope. I'm not really sure. That's something that I'll leave for Rick to explain how our waste and recycling is being transformed and used. I do recognize Catherine Bruns has her hands up. She probably knows more. So go ahead, Catherine.
No, this is Catherine Bruns, Recycling Coordinator speaking. I just wanted to add maybe Ms. Harris might understand that the benefit to the town of separating the yard waste and then taking it to a separate drop-off location other than an incinerator where our trash goes is that it is a lower tip fee than the trash fee. So there is a savings to the town in separating that material out and carrying it. It's a small piece of it, but it is considerably less, I think about 30% less to tip organic waste than it is to tip municipal solid waste.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruns. Mr. Ledwith, did you have anything you wanted to add or clarify
I do not,
about?
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Certainly, John is our expert on these matters, and I would defer to him if there was anything else he wanted to add to that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just wanted to go back to my opening comments that after that tour and after your insightful comments, Counselor Harris, there is opportunity for the town if we build the awareness about recycling and food waste and try to engage everyone in the programs. I think not just environmentally, but economically, we will see the benefits of that. So I'll just add that, and we can move on to the next staff report. If anyone else has any other questions, I don't want to miss anyone. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Palmer, Director of Plant and Facilities, for his report.
Through you, Madam Chair, I don't know if
Oh,
John still had a few more things I think
Right.
in his report, but
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
please
all right.
continue. Thank you.
That's quite all right. And I'll go quickly. So we already that's going through the rest of the monthly report. Obviously, we've touched on it already. Where Catherine Bruns hosted a tour with the recycling facility, and she also had a public meeting on the importance of waste reduction on February 4th. It was well received. I believe for a meeting like that, I was surprised at the attendance, but West Hartford seems to really get engaged with this topic, which is a proud. It really, West Hartford residents should pat themselves on the back for being engaged in this topic. And so we just give some information, a scorecard of what we recycle and how we track our data. And it's really just more of a education for the council, that we track this stuff extensively. We look at it from many different angles to make sure we're doing the right things. Again, my philosophy always starts with a material management philosophy, and then I've got skills like Catherine Bruns and others who help us participate to look at the bigger issues of the environment, et cetera, to make sure that all those missions are aligned. And so again, good data points there on that education outreach and the importance of Catherine Bruns's position to Public Works, but the town itself. Again, Rick touched on the snow and ice management. Again, I appreciate the comments. Again, it's certainly a team effort between what we do for the transportation system and obviously the support that facilities provides us and making sure that the details are done at each one of our facilities. It was a very, very busy January. February has been just as busy, although we're in a nice low right now. Cross our fingers we stay here. I want to touch on, because it is an issue, it's been on local media. There is a salt issue in the state of Connecticut. I believe Intel tells me that a vessel was brought in late last night, but it's not offloaded yet. So we do expect to start seeing some salt deliveries early next week, which is basically what they promised anyways about 10 days ago. They said around February 16th, material will be ready for delivery. We have about 1,600 tons ordered that is outstanding since the first part of January. That's what we're waiting on. And we've been able to limp along through all of the storms. Again, we just list January storms. You can see how busy it was. Even a 0.4 inch is a reaction. We have to go out and treat their transportation system. That's enough to make the roads unsafe. And so it does trigger our activity to get out there and do something. I want to highlight two employees to give an example of really the team. I'm just a talking head for the team. The team really does do the performance that Rick highlighted with their endurance and they're just being super professionals. 2 nights ago, we had that threat of storm. We're supposed to get 1 to 3, then a coding to 1, whatever. It was kept moving around. It never really materialized that evening. It was Monday evening. So we sent crews home at 11:30, sent everybody home. 2 guys stayed. And it wasn't within an hour, we got a little spit of ice rain and coated everything. 2 individuals, Jeff Kyle and Michael DiToronto Jr., they carried the weight of the entire department by themselves all night to make sure that the transportation system was safe. Secondaries and arterials was their primary. They kept in close contact with our emergency response center in case something were to arise. They would be the first responders to assist if they needed a trip to go somewhere, meaning a road would have been icy and not treated yet. And they really carried the weight, 2 guys, until the rest of their team came back to work, normal business hours. And to our accounts, we received no complaints, no accidents, and the town opened up normally first thing in the morning, Tuesday morning. So a real great credit to those 2 individuals and their efforts. But again, another just example of we just do our job and we see what needs to get done and we try to get it done. Or as you say, the bumper sticker I have, we make it happen. Councilman Laris. So municipal parking has also been very busy. Again, winter time is always a hard time to manage municipal parking operations and provide parking for commerce and the benefit of our center business district. Garage management is difficult with the snow and ice and all kinds of challenges that come with that in that environment. But they're still able to work on several big projects. The garage restoration project is underway, although winter has kind of slowed it down a little bit, and that is replacing all the mechanics of our escalators and elevators, lighting upgrades, and doing roof membranes on the garages. And so we'll start obviously get busy as the weather breaks as we approach the spring of 26. We did complete an ADA improvement, moving parking spaces to support a economic development project that's happening in the Brace Road parking lot on Farmington Avenue, the old CBS property. So that project has been completed and we work closely with engineering to accomplish that. We are working on a pilot program with a new innovative AI camera that will kind of watch our curb lines and help us better understand curb management. And curb management in the parking world is understanding how our curb is used by cars, people, bikes, ride shares, Uber Eats, and this camera is being trained to watch those activities so we can better understand the impact of our curbs and the industry that needs to use our curbs, both people and industrial uses. Again, we support the center's infrastructure project, and we know all that's about to get underway come mid-February, getting really busy March and April, going into spring. And we're also continuing to work on our mobile app systems. Again, in payment systems, they change, they evolve, and so we have to adapt to the new technologies that come in so we can continue to offer and be as up to date with payment offers to people who use our pay to park system. So Municipal Park has been extremely busy in that space. On the heels of winter operations, the fleet division, I've always said this as a director, and just in my experience in being in this industry from a very young age, your fleet and your mechanics are always the backbone of the institution. They make sure that police, fire, and public works have the equipment and the rolling equipment to do their job, and their uptime of their equipment is key. I wanted to highlight though that we just entered in the area of dash cams. We made an agreement with our GPS company, Samsara, to add a few dash cams as an exploratory effort to see how much they'll improve our operational visibility, safety, and efficiencies of our operation. And the picture in the report is telling. It's very telling. The first day we ran those cameras out, one of our plow truck drivers came across a vehicle turning on the wrong side of a traffic island, come head on with them. And that's what that picture shows. The red car in that picture is on the wrong side of the street and heading right towards him and had to avoid him. So right away, you see the benefits of what they see every day is driving these large trucks in any time of season. So it's a credit to the technology and something we'll look to grow and maybe add to more trucks. Right now, we're just running 6 cameras in our operation. Again, winter brings on things. I list the long list, and that's really just a snapshot of the work activity of our fleet mechanics and the extensiveness of breakdowns. Again, that list represents everything that we expect. We expect those kinds of breaks to happen, so it's not alarming to us. But I thought it was a good data point of the quantity of work that comes into our fleet. And again, especially why they're also the backbone. What makes them the backbone? Not only do they repair that list that's on top of it, plus a number of other work orders, they also plow streets. So they substitute as full-time plow truck drivers and then have to get out of their truck and then go turn wrenches. And so they are very skilled at what they do, both at a tactical standpoint and supporting our snow and ice control operation. We did add a mechanic through a vacancy that we had, Fernando Lopez. He comes to us from a private industry, Generous Ford. He's a great addition to us. He's an 11-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force with service overseas, including war zones. So we're very excited about his addition to our team, and he's excited to be here. And that really concludes my report. Again, I'll take any questions on the overall report or take any requests for next reporting period.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Sorry I cut you off prematurely there.
It's
And
okay.
now, and I'll open it up to any committee members if you have any questions.
Um, I had a question through you, Madam Chair.
Right ahead.
Going back, Mr. Phillips, to the recycling for a moment. In your report, I believe it's your report, you said that we sell some of the recycling materials on the commodity market, like paper, glass, metals. Is that already in the cost to transport and process the recycling, or is that a separate, um, you know, cost and amount of money that we're getting, or is it already figured into the cost per ton?
So it's only figured into the cost per ton if there's a positive return on the commodities. And what creates a positive return on the commodities? We're fortunate to be partnered with USA Trash Recycling Murphy Road, who receives those materials. They have state-of-the-art equipment. It's new. It's innovative. I think that by all accounts, they're one of the leaders in New England to have this type of optic separating systems. And so it starts there. We bring them our material. They charge us a baseline processing fee. And right now, I think we're right around $100 per ton on those, call it blue cart types of recyclable materials, the stuff you put in the blue cart that is collected bi-weekly. We don't sell it. They do. They process it. They get the separation. They try to bring that commodity to its highest and greatest value eliminate contaminations, and then bundle it, and then they push it to market. They hold all the risks as far as creating that product to be sellable. If there's a positive commodity sale of those products, we see that in a benefit by a reduced processing fee. So, for example, we pay 100, they make 150 on it. They share that 50 with us, and they charge us less for processing on just those material line items. Because there are other material items that they're like glass, very hard to recycle and sell. And we bring it to them, they still process it. So it's a mathematical equation. More often than not, there is a benefit to us where we pay less in the processing fee. Current markets are pretty tight. We've been paying our baseline processing fee for the past couple months. But there were times a few years ago we were paying 50% of our processing fee because of the benefit of recycling and the return on that, what they call an ARC. It's an ARC payment back to our contract, and that's embedded into our contract. Hopefully, I said a lot, so hopefully I explained that process to you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just a quick one.
Go ahead,
Uh,
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question, Mr. Phillips. When we do eventually get the salt in, we can all hope that we don't need to use all of it before the end of this winter. It doesn't like expire or go bad or reduce its efficiency or effectiveness over time. We can keep it till next winter.
So yes, we keep it till next winter. It does reduce slightly, on average 10% due to humidity and moisture, right? Because it will dissolve. But the way we manage our materials on a year-over-year basis, we have to fill our barn going into next season, so we have stock going into next winter, and then we only budget for kind of the offset of what we already have stocked. So high level, we go through about 6,000 tons per year. We keep 2,000 in the barn, and we buy annually 4,000 ton. So that's our management process of the material. But no, it does not lose its effectiveness. So again, you may lose some just due to evaporation and humidity content, but it does not lose its effectiveness. It's just as effective today as it will be if we do hold on 2,000 in our barn. It's covered. It's environmentally sound. It meets all those requirements for a store water management. But it's just as effective next November for whatever stock we fill up with.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Lyons.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mr. Phillips. Probably just more clarifications than anything else. So household refuse with food scraps in it is much, much heavier. Yeah, I think. Is that correct? So by
Yes.
removing food scrap, having a unique food scrap recycling program, it lightens the weight of garbage, and then obviously we pay for garbage removal household removal, based on weight, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So we are getting some built-in savings there as well. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we can move on now to Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bob Palmer, Director of Plant and Facility Services. Good morning, everybody. Well, obviously, with the cold weather, that's really been our focus for the last month. It's just protecting our buildings. So we've done very well. Our staff reacted very well and took precautions to protect the buildings. A lot of our buildings ended up running 24/7 on the cold weather, which increases our energy costs a little bit, but it does protect the buildings. So we had some minor issues, such as fax and library. We lost the boiler for a day down there, and it was just a delay in getting parts was really the reason there. Another incident on the town side was Memorial Garage. We did end up freezing some sprinkler pipes there in the lower level. We're not quite sure why that happened, and we're working to understand why that is, since the facility is 20 years old and we've been through some cold spills before. So we're just trying to look and see what operationally has changed, why that happened. Schools did very well. The heavy snow, our portable classrooms, which are basically wooden structures, developed some leaks in areas due to the ice damming. So we did clear some roof snows on those structures, not all of them, but some of them that were leaking, and that corrected the issue. I did get a lot of questions regarding snow loads on buildings. And while we had quite a bit of snow, it wasn't a heavy snow, so it was very light. We continue to monitor for that. We learned a lot in 2010 when we went through that, and we ended up clearing roofs because of the heavy snow and the heavy water content that it had. So overall, we did very well. We continue to do well. Looks like we're moderating here for the next week or so, which is very welcome news. We'll melt off some of the stuff off our buildings and off our grounds, and hopefully recover from all this. So, but been challenging, but we've done very well. From a staffing point, we do still have a part-time custodian position available. We have filled the building crew leader position with an internal candidate. Jordan Ferreira, who's been a building maintainer for us for 5 years, was selected for the position. He started this past Monday in that role. Looking forward to having him in that role and being back to full staffing on that part of our crew. I didn't mention it in my report, but we also had our HVAC mechanic had retired at the beginning of January for the town side. He has agreed to come back 2 days a week on a part-time basis. But in the meantime, we actually have found a candidate to refill his position, which we're very fortunate. On the Board of Ed side, I've had an HVAC position vacant for over a year, just unable to find a suitable candidate for that position. And it's very challenging in the trades right now to find folks. So we're doing very well there. We were very pleased to get this applicant and to get him in the process of hiring him. So we're very thrilled about that. Moving on to other items, the new Elmwood Community Center. We continue with construction documents at this point. Working on the new building, the old building at 100 Mayflower. We did receive bids on that. We do have a scope review for that next week with the lowest bidders. We'll work our way through that process and select that. So I would expect demolition to hopefully begin, I would hope by April 1st, and hopefully the building is down by summer. So we'll have the site restored prior to the summer season adjacent to Beachland Park. Other capital projects, we still see supply chain issues here periodically. We are seeing better lead times on some of those long lead times, like generators were a year and a half. They're down to about a year at this point. Other items we're seeing some improvements in that. Material costs still high, and then there's certain items that are just tough to get. So on the town side for projects, any updates? Animal control continues. They were able to, with the cold weather, they've been able to even work the concrete mixes, and combined with heating blankets allows them to continue to work throughout the summer. So they were able to get the slab in. We're currently working on the walls, masonry, installing the masonry walls for that. Fueling station, the demolition bidding was complete. We selected a contractor yesterday. We're in the process of working through a contract, so we'll begin to see that facility change, and then probably in about a month we'll be underway with that project. And the driving range continues. We're making good progress there, getting ready for a spring opening for that new facility. And the same with Eisenhower Pool. We were able to continue with the concrete work on both the foundation and the sides, again using the same techniques that we were using for animal control. So a lot of the concrete work there has been completed. We're currently on a hold right now, just because of the amount of snow. Once we have a little bit of melting, we'll be able to get back in and start doing more work there. Board of Ed side, really nothing. The only project that's really ongoing is the Wolcott main office, and that continues to progress very well. Everything else, we're in the planning stages for the summer. So we're finishing up designs and getting things out to bid and ready to go for the summer season. Happy to take any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Any questions?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the report, Mr. Palmer. I was curious on the bids for the Elmwood Community Center. How many bids did we actually get?
I believe it was 10.
10. Okay.
Yes, it was an amazing response.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Counselor Harris. Any other questions?
May I ask a question?
Oh, yes, Counselor Wang.
Oh, thank you. Sorry if it's noisy. I'm on the school drop-off run. And but anyways, yes, through you, Chairwoman Lazarus, to Mr. Palmer. I have two questions. With the new housing bill 8002, there's a 5% percentage point increase in school renovation reimbursements from the state. Do you have any sense of how sizable that amount of money is, and is that worth our town going for, or is it like small potatoes?
I'm sorry, how much of a percentage increase was it?
5 percentage point increase for state reimbursement
Okay.
on school renovations.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to make a pretty significant improvement. So our current reimbursement rate is 38.15%. So that'll bring us up into the low 40s. So, typical projects that we get school reimbursement for are roof projects, which we do every year. So this year we're looking at Brayburn, which is a $3.1 million project. So we expected to get probably about a little bit less than $1 million. So another 5% on that is, obviously beneficial to us. Other projects that are get reimbursement include any of the fresh air projects that we're doing at the schools, and those are significant dollars. So it is pretty significant if we do see that in additional 5%. So it's very much appreciated.
Okay, so maybe we could talk about this at CPED when we talk about the law, because we already have a TOD which enables us to go for that percentage point increase. So we have to figure out how to get that. Thank you so
Okay.
much. And then I do have a second question, if okay, with Chairwoman Lazarus.
Yes, Mr. Wang.
Okay, thank you. With the Elmwood Community Center, I understand the old building, it's old, et cetera. I have a little trouble wrapping my head around the 62 million, I believe, the price tag. Like, what does that translate into? Maybe this is for town manager Ledwith. What does that translate into, like an annual, bond cost to the town? Like, what does it cost us on an annual basis to service that kind of debt? For how long? Because that's a big chunk of change.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councilor Wang's question, very good question. As the work continues on the design of the new community center and certainly the demolition of the existing structure, we are continuing to work with our delegation on finding alternative funding options. So to say that we would essentially completely bond for it's probably closer to $70 million facility, 82,000 square feet, as you know, combining the Faxon Library with our community center, senior center, and teen center ended up being a large facility. So we will not likely, I obviously would work with, it'd be a policy decision that we would work with the council on, but to bond completely for 70 million, I'm not sure we would move in that direction. So we're working very hard to find alternative funding and looking at a couple of different options and working with our delegation, whether it's through the bond commission, through the ability for the town to move into the community investment fund, looking at different, for example, a tax incentive, a TIF district or a tax incentive fund district, as another example. So there's a few different things that we're looking at. So I wouldn't want to come right out and say it's, to work from a $70 million number and say that's what the impact would be on our debt structure, as well as the impact on taxpayers before we, conclude looking at and obtaining other funding sources. So long answer to your question, but happy to talk through it more as well if you have a follow-up to that.
Okay, thank you. It's so hard with these morning meetings, so I'm going to take further questions offline with you, Town Manager Ledwith.
Sure.
Just because it's a little tricky with, getting the kids to school. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Perfect. Thank you, Counselor Wang, for that. Any other questions? I'll do one more scroll through. I don't see any questions. Thank you. So we're moving on to, will it be sustainability? Who would like to go first? Catherine DeFinney or Catherine Bruns? Catherine DeFinney, floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Councilwoman. This is Catherine DeVinny, Energy Specialist for the town of West Hartford. So I am just starting this report and wanted to let you all know that it was rather fitting that some of the commission's events we had planned for January 26th were postponed because of snow. So we are going to have our snow removal presentation by John Phillips on Monday, February 25th. I think that should be very informative for the community, and it will earn us points towards Sustainable Connecticut certification and will be live streamed. So I hope some of you will come in person or tune in. We also had to postpone our Sustainable West Hartford Commission meeting, and I'm excited for this next one. We have a guest speaker, Bill Gleason of the West Hartford Tree Project, is going to provide the committee with a presentation of the preliminary results of West Hartford's recent tree canopy study. And we'll have a kind of brainstorming session about how we can address some of the issues that we predict we'll see in that. That's all from me. I want to turn it over. I'm very excited with all the questions and interest in waste. So Catherine with a K and I decided to spotlight waste in our report that we provided. So I'm going to hand it over to Catherine Bruns. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Catherine Bruns, Recycling Coordinator. I'm really excited by the energy and the questions around waste and the costs related to waste and the benefits to the town if we can reduce waste or shift the different places that our waste goes. So, and how we take it beyond sort of preaching to the choir and people who are really interested in getting to enforcement and making things mandatory so that the proper waste goes in the right direction. I was really delighted that the 3 town council members came with us to the recycling facility. I'm sorry that town council member Wang couldn't come with us, but I'll arrange another one because it really is, it's an eye-popping facility, to say the least. It's state-of-the-art. They process 60,000 items per hour. I think all of us were amazed that there are hand pickers there, 18 people who are pulling things off that aren't allowed. And so there's a lot of room there around education around, what we shouldn't be putting in our recycling. We saw someone actually pull a microwave out while we were there, as you all might remember. And I made a reel about it and I have some photos up on social media. And it was good timing too, because I gave a talk at the library last Wednesday and there were a lot of questions and I could definitively say to people, yes, if the material makes it to the recycling facility, it does get recycled. We saw it with our own eyeballs, but we have a lot more opportunity in our town to get a lot more material out of our trash. We saw from a waste audit that, I can't remember what percent, but about 20% of what's in our trash, or 17%, is recyclable material. And how do we audit our trash cans more to make sure there isn't yard waste there that should be taken out? Again, like I said to Town Councilwoman Harris, that it costs less to dispose of organic waste than it does to dispose of municipal solid waste. Let's see. Yeah, so while education is really important, and I do my best to do that, what other levers do we have as a town to go beyond just the people who are willing to do it? I mean, there's a certain percentage, it's proven by other communities that do voluntary food scrap drop-off programs, that you do reach a saturation point at somewhere between 1% and 3%. It depends on the municipality. So at some point, even though our drop-off program is really popular, we will tap out there. You'll get to the end of the people who are going to do it because they want to do it. What is it that we can do to, make it so people will be more incentivized financially or otherwise? We can start to we can start to enforce. Well, there's a lot of mechanisms. Sorry, I get a little flustered in this situation, but there's a lot of we have the ability to tag contaminants in waste and recycling to get material in the proper barrels. But I think a lot of people would like to see curbside collection of food scraps. Again, that's about 25% of what we throw away, and has the potential to save the town money in the long run. I'm going around in circles, but I'm here for any questions. But I do really appreciate the three of you who came on the tour to understand the importance and the financial ramifications of getting the right material in the right direction.
Can't
You're
hear
on
the
mute.
Thank you. Sorry, trying to get out my background noise. Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Bruns. Any committee members with any questions?
Yes, I would like to ask
Councilor
one
Harris.
question from Catherine B, if possible. I just was curious, through you, Madam Chair, I was just curious, why, after we saw, specifically at the tour, the amount of contamination in the recycling, why we are doing single stream, versus having people separate out materials. I mean, would that not reduce contamination and then help us, obviously from maybe a financial standpoint?
I'll start to answer that question and then also turn it over to John Phillips, because the decision was made before I had this job. I believe it was in around 2001 or 2004, somewhere around there, that we did single stream. With single stream recycling, you really do get a lot more material. You collect it when you make it easier for people. They do tend to put more material in. We found that when we offered weekly recycling, then there became a lot of the wish cycling that we talked about. You thought, well, if I can put it in either barrel, I just wish it would be recycled, so I'll put it in there. So that turned out to be not cost beneficial to the town, because there were too many contaminants that were put in, and an extra round of recycling, that extra weekly recycling costs about, I think, $800,000. So single stream recycling does collect more material, and with the education around it, such as don't bag in plastic and don't put plastic film in and styrofoam and things like that, you do get more materials recovered.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, through the chair, John Phillips, Director Colors, to add to that, Councilwoman Harris. So we used to, in time, a long time ago, our waste management system, we were first really just breaking away from just throwing everything away, and we got into more serious actions of recycling. There was single source, single stream, or single item collections. That industry isn't offered anywhere to the state of Connecticut, although we can participate locally if we wanted to, but we have to make the investment. And so the best example to put down, so the state of Connecticut streamlined it to make it more efficient so that more materials can get collected by a single route or truck, one collection transportation system for the material 1 through 7s that you put in your blue bin. If we were to go smaller to gain higher quality of material, for instance, glass, paper, cardboards, each one represents a different stream, and you'd have to collect it separately, right, to maximize its greatest value. And then that would be a cost that's cost prohibitive, because you'd have extra trucks going out just to pick up cardboard or just to pick up clean papers. So that's where single stream kind of became a thing. It's just the most efficient and cost effective way to divert material out of your waste that is recyclable, but then the industry that you might have visited is adapting and developing and engineering solutions to sort that material coming in to the best possible. So the contamination now comes down to enforcement. Microwaves don't belong in your blue bin, yet they show up there. Yard waste does not belong in your blue bin, yet they show up there. Now, we're guilty. If we see it, we shouldn't collect it, but our enforcement is not there to stop for that stuff from happening. And that's the key to anything. You can overlay that enforcement to many, many federal, local, and state policies and laws.
Hey,
Hope that
thank
answers
you.
your question.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. I like the term accountability instead of enforcement. All right.
I will change my verbiage.
Any other questions? Catherine Deviney, go ahead.
Thank you, Catherine Deviney, Energy Specialist. So I just wanted to say, again, thank you for all your interest in the waste topic. I think Catherine and I wanted to kind of present this write-up that we provided you, and I hope you all have a chance to read it if you haven't, as a way of kind of revisiting and kicking off the discussion on waste. As you all know, in 2024, the council made a decision not to move forward with pay-as-you-throw. And the town has moved forward since then and instituted the drop-off food scrap program and enhanced education and done things like that. But we presented some ideas in our write-up that it might be time, and we know that we have a waste working group as part of the Sustainable West Hartford Commission who has spent a lot of time researching and brainstorming ideas that they'd like to share and discuss with you of ways we can do a better job with our waste. So whenever you guys are ready to have some deeper discussions, or if there are particular strategies that you'd like to discuss, we are here as both the town staff and the commission as resources, and we would love that you guys are interested in this topic, and I think there's a lot that could be done.
Thank you, Ms. Deviney. Do we have any other questions? Seeing none, we will move on to future agenda items. Do we have any future agenda items? Hearing none. Before we adjourn, I just want to actually acknowledge the internal promotion at plants and facilities and the retirement. Congratulations to those folks. If there is no other business before the committee, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Madam Chair.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned at 8:53 a.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.